anyone can do it. Anyone can be part of it. And when you're collaborating, that's that's a really huge, fun thing to do, regardless of whether or not you're a musician. You know, if you can put a sentence together, you can be a songwriter.
Well, today I have a wonderful surprise for everyone watching, and I think you're going to love this chat. I'm very excited to introduce a beautiful lady. This lady is amazing. She is beautiful, dynamic, vibrant personality who is multi-talented in the area, in many areas of music and songwriting and singing and with choirs. And she's leading a very colorful and productive life, creating music wherever she goes.
Thank you. What a
And
lovely introduction.
it's a joy to chat with you, OJ. And I just realized, boy, you have a name that suits you, Rushton, because you're always rushing every.
It's a bit like that. Yes, yes. It seems to be the story of my life, but I also love it at the same time. When COVID came and kind of clipped my wings a little bit, it was nice to sit and breathe for a while. But I've had a little break and I'm back out and into it, which is lots of fun.
Well, very excited to chat with you today. We have some actually super announcements to share with the audience too, but to everyone that's listening. So I'd like to start by just introducing you, OJ, in terms of a bit about your background and about, you know, what you've been doing and where your passion lies, all those sorts of things.
Oh, well, thank you, Medyhne. It's lovely to be here and on your channel. Hello, everyone. I hope you're well wherever you are in the world. I'm currently in the Southern Highlands of New South Wales. It's cold country, the cool breeze blowing through the palm tree behind me. But instead of the waves, you can actually hear ducks in the background. If you hear these funny little
That's so
sounds.
cute.
I I'm actually on a friend's farm at the moment, and it's absolutely stunning out here. It's beautiful. It's going to get to the early 20s today, which is almost unheard of for this time of year in this part of the world. We've often had a light dusting of snow by now when I lived here. So to be in the 20s, I've been based in Alice Springs as well. So I've come from 40 something degrees down to the teens.
Wow.
But anyway, it's been lovely to get back out and travel and be able to touch people's lives through music, and that's really my passion. Um, More than anything, have you ever had a time in your life where you just you just knew what you wanted to do?
Yes,
But you
I'm
weren't.
in that right now, which is making the documentary, which we're going to talk about too.
That's it. That's it. And
Yeah.
your viewers out there, are you someone who really, so much of the time we get asked, "Oh, what do you want to do?" And right into our later life. Often people go, "I don't really know." Well, I'm an accountant, or I'm a whatever, a nurse or whatever, and it's not always the thing that really is your passion and your heart and the thing
Mm,
you were born to do.
yeah.
But I have been very, very blessed to follow my passion of music from a very young age. And I started singing with my mum in harmony when I was about 2 years old. And I
Oh,
had a very supportive family. So, parents out there, really encourage your kids to follow their dreams and follow their passions because it does make a huge difference when you have supportive people around you. And as I say, I've been very blessed to just have a life. Have lived a life of passion with mostly supportive people around me. There's always those people that get a little bit jealous, don't they? And they try and make it hard for you. But there's people close to me have been very supportive, and went into music, became a music teacher, went into education, and I started teaching piano when I was 13.
wow.
And I
That's
was in a little small country school, and back in the day, before you had to have lots of letters after your name to walk into a classroom, the school actually asked me to come also because I'd just gone into high school. They didn't have anyone to teach the primary school, and they knew I wanted to be involved and, you know, go into a musical career and teaching. And so they said, well, why don't you teach the primary school music class, and we will put you with the primary school music teacher, give you some classroom techniques. She'll sit in with you. She'll help you, you know, with your curriculum and your, you know, lesson plans and all that sort of stuff. So at the age of 13, I had this amazing opportunity to start teaching
Incredible.
and following my dream and my passion. Um, and I also, at that time, I'd already been writing songs and, you know, starting to explore the world of music, but especially singing. And one thing that I really found when I started teaching at the age of 13 is I started, and I guess, you know, because I still was a child and I was thinking like a child, I started seeing that music was an outlet for expression
Yeah.
and passion,
Mm.
and that the arts was really a way of speaking without having to say anything. And and I started realizing that as a music teacher I was probably more of a life coach than a music teacher.
Yes.
And I started finding, you know, the kids would come in and they would just start, I could tell by the way they walked into the room, I could tell by the way they touched the piano, I could tell by the way, you know, they sang a song, what sort of week they'd had.
Yes. Yeah.
And it started, I started exploring, even back then and even before it was a thing, really music for mental health. And I could see that by having a successful lesson every week, I was helping them have a better life.
I think that ability to express yourself, and when someone is particularly going through a hard time, it's so important for them to be able to somehow let it out and not just keep everything suppressed inside themselves. And it's such a brilliant outlet for that, because if people are, for example, they don't know how to articulate things or they're scared to speak about things, it's a way that they can have release that pressure valve, and they can express it on in some level, on some form, how
Yeah.
they've been feeling.
Yeah, that's right. And look, you know, for any of your listeners, really, it's so exciting just to be able to, you know, pick up an instrument, sit down at the piano, you know, let off a little bit of steam, or even just walk around the house and sing a song, sing in the shower. The science of that is that you don't have to be singing perfectly in tune for it to be doing you good. So,
Mm,
you know, a lot of people say, oh, I can't sing, I can't sing. If you can speak, you can sing, and it can do you a lot of good. And singing and music can often do things like stimulate your vagus nerve, which can help. That's very good for regulation. You know, if you're feeling you know, anxiety or stress, just, you know, starting to sing and making sound, you know,
mm,
singing sounds, um,
yes.
can actually help your mental health. And so when I was 17, I had the opportunity to conduct my first choir,
Wow. That's
and
awesome.
I fell in love with group singing,
Yes. Yes.
choirs, and have, you know, since been able to um, create choirs and conduct choirs around Australia, around the world. I've
You've
been
done an
very, very
amazing job with that.
privileged to do
Yes.
that. And I'm very passionate about bringing people together through music. So, not just doing it yourself, although that's great and I would highly recommend it, but to be able to do it together, you know, and collaborating. One of the best ways to collaborate, Medyhne, is to actually do music together, sing together, write songs together,
Yes.
play together, form a
Yes.
band, have
Yes.
a jam session. You
Yes.
know, 100 years ago, Australia was known as a nation of singers. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
In
Not at all.
fact,
Huh?
CJ Dennis, one of our early war
Poets.
poets.
I loved his book. It was one of my favorite poetry books. And in fact, a few years back, I was trying to find that book again. You couldn't order it. And I put out to the universe, I want that book, that book of poetry by him. And I went to a garage sale. It was in the bottom of a cardboard box. And I
Oh,
got it again.
fantastic.
I loved his very strong memories of his poetry.
Yeah, well, he wrote a song, sorry, a poem called The Singin' Soldier. And basically it said you could tell an Aussie soldier because he was singing in the trenches.
That is very interesting. Very interesting.
And you look at, like, you go into museums, and nearly every time you go into a house, you know, an old house where they've got everything was as it was, you know, 100 years ago or whatever, nearly always there is a piano. And that is because after dinner, almost every night, the family wouldn't sit around the television, they would gather around the piano and sing. And
That is so true. Now you mention it. We had a piano growing up, and my grandmother had one of those ones. Now, what are they called? You know, when you do the
the
pedals and you
pianola,
put a pianola. Yes,
pianola,
you put the rolls in,
yeah,
and then you
yeah,
sing to it,
yeah.
and she would play that. That's amazing.
And it really is, and a lot of people did. I have a working pianola as well, with rolls that date back to the 1800s.
Yes, I
Um,
remember. I remember doing it. You're triggering all these memories. Wow, very
and
interesting.
can I just ask, you know, are that what how do you feel inside when you remember those things?
Oh, just beautiful. It's lovely. You know, being able to listen to the music. She had a particular record I loved of Mary Hopkins. You know, those were the days when she had that. She used to play that, and then we'd sit and. But I tried because when I was little, my feet didn't touch the pedals. And I was trying to pedal with the piano, but when I got bigger, I could do it better. But yeah, I do remember that as a strong memory, and it's a beautiful memory, like you say. Yeah.
Yeah, and singing, and it's really interesting, you know, as we get older and our brains get older, one of the things that, you know, science is catching up to a lot of things that us musos have intuitively known, for hundreds of years, and that is that music can actually help keep your mind active and healthy. So by singing, and actively, you know, playing an instrument, singing, and that sort of thing, they find, you know, people with dementia and things like that, uh, often can't communicate verbally anymore. You know, you put them in front of a piano because they learnt it as a child, and they will play it like they've just done their, you know, their top exam, you know it. And
Yes.
I know singing triggers something in our brain that bypasses the conscious brain.
Yes.
And I actually had, I started the world's first online youth choir about 10 years ago. And
Yes.
I've just, part of the reason I'm in the Southern Highlands is I was in Canberra at the Australian War Memorial performing with that choir just before Anzac Day, which was amazing, to help support veteran families and shine a light on their service and sacrifice. Um, but in that choir, I actually had a family who had a young child. The youngest of the family was nonverbal, and she was 7 years old, and she had never spoken. She had a lot of issues, and had had a lot of operations, and the doctors were trying to get her to be able to speak.
Mhm.
And anyway, her two older siblings were in the choir and had been for a couple of years. And we were just starting a new year, about the third year they were in, and their mother came up and said, "Would you mind if my youngest joined the choir?" I said, "Oh, not at all. I mean, that would be amazing, right? That's just
Yes.
incredible. She can stand there and just let the music wash over her, right? How amazing would that be?" So I
Yes.
just felt really honored that, you know, mum had felt safe, you know, that there was safety there for her to be able to join.
Definitely.
And anyway, she stood up at the front. I'll never forget this day as long as I live. I'll try not cry telling you, actually, because it was quite emotional. We
Mm.
started singing one of our standard repertoire songs that I'd actually written, and she started singing it word perfect. She had
Oh,
never spoken. She
wow.
All she could do was grunt, so she could
Oh,
sort of go for water, or I'm hungry, or I'm in pain. That was all that she could get out. And here she was, and of course we're all just dissolved in tears. We're all like, she's singing. And so the
oh,
first words that little girl ever sang, or ever spoke, or ever said in her life, were words that I had written in a song.
oh.
So that is the
That's
power.
so touching. So
of
poignant.
singing and writing music, which
Yeah.
is, what we want to talk about today. So I
Mm.
hope you get a little bit of a heart of my passion and why I do what I do, why I run around the countryside, doing pop-up choirs and online choirs and, just getting people singing together. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfectly in tune, although it sounds much nicer when it is.
Can
It's
I
just
say to
really,
you,
really good
you,
for you.
you
And I think
you've got the biggest, haven't you got the biggest online global choir in the world?
it wouldn't be the biggest, but it is the longest ongoing online youth choir.
Beautiful.
So
And how
a
many
lot of people.
people roughly?
Pre-COVID, it's kind of funny. Pre-COVID, we were bigger than when COVID hit. Although I did have people joining us from all around the world, and we did some other pop-up choir things. We had 150.
That's incredible.
Um, yeah, and
150.
we have school partners and things as well. So I guess if you added up all of our school partners around the world, plus all the kids that are actually currently actively involved in the choir, we'd have hundreds. But we generally, so we practice online and then we travel to perform. Is like now COVID's over, we're back to traveling to perform. And we had, let me see, how many do we have? About 15 people performed at the Australian War Memorial on Tuesday. So we get sort of 10 to 15, 10 to 20. Sometimes we have 30, 35 that will stand up and sing with us, depending on whether or not they can get there. But some of our choir mashups have been up to 150 people online.
Oh, that's brilliant. Absolutely
Yeah.
brilliant. Um, so what I'd like to talk about now, morphing into a new area, is that I knew of your wonderful work that you've been doing nationally and even internationally, and so I wanted to talk to you about community for my documentary that we're making, The New Golden Age, because um,
Yes.
bringing community together is such an important aspect of moving forward into a better world and to evolving as a species. Being able to work together and collaborate and be in community and unite is the opposite of what we've been experiencing previously, which is all the division and everything. So um, you're such a great example of that, and everything that you've been doing. So we actually just recently, and it was really fun, we had a day of filming for the documentary. I can share a few photos with people too. I've got some photos here. Here is here's a picture of you and me overlooking the ferry area where we were filming, but obviously we didn't have the cars showing, but we had the water in the background, and it was really funny too, because one of the things I asked you in the questions was, I said, why is it, why is singing important? And you said, singing is so important in order to express yourself. And then the fairy went, beep, 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 really loud 3 times, because the fairy was expressing itself.
Very much and very loudly, and the ducks are currently expressing themselves too over there. They're having a great old time. But you're right. You're singing in community. I mean, if you one of the in my experience, and I've been a professional speaking coach as well around the world, and one of the things that I found is one of the quickest ways to bring a group of people together in unity is to sing together.
Yes.
And there's not a lot of things in the world that we do immediately and successfully together. And there are two things, and it's interesting, we do both of those in commemoration and to help us with grief. And the two things are singing and silence. And a perfect example of that is Anzac Day. We do those two things, and at funerals, at weddings, probably more funerals than weddings, but sometimes in weddings we sing together as well. And certainly after everyone's had a few wines or a few beers at the reception, if there's some good entertainment, we all find ourselves singing along to some pub favorites or something like that. Because it's just in our DNA to be able to sing. And when you sing together, so forgive me, any scientists who are listening, because I'm going to be very, very layman's terms here. But when you sing, you make vibrations. So think about the vibrations in the universe. Think about, what we talk about, putting things out to the universe, speaking out, right? Those things come deep within you, and they vibrate through your vocal cords and out into the atmosphere. And then when you sing with others, they are doing exactly the same thing. And those sounds, those vibrations are coming together. And they've actually done studies that show that the vibrations in the air align. So if we want unity, to be able to sing together is a very, very powerful way of social proof that we can work together. Yeah, because what happens is that vibration in the air then gets translated back through your ears and then back into your soul and into your brain that says, ah, this is good because everyone else is doing it, so it must be good, right? And so it's amazing the science of what they're finding, of how powerful that is for self-regulation, for your mental health, for social proof that there are other people in the world, that you're not alone. There's
Yes.
so many things that music and group singing does.
Yes, yes, that feeling of when that energy and that sound comes back to you, you're all one, you're all doing it together, and it's like you're holding hands and you know, joining, and I think that it reminds me very much of the Tesla quote, everything is, frequency, energy, vibration type thing. That's everything. And that's a way to harmonize with one another and know that we are all one. Because we, in truth, in the metaphysical sense, quantum consciousness, we're all one. And I love that. It's so beautiful. You've explained that so well. I'd love to share another photo with you from the shoot. But this is a great photo too. This is the crew that we're filming. Wonderful cameraman there, Alan, and we have Steve in the background there waving, and we've got two
With his
two
blue
doctors
steel
there,
look.
Ray and Graham. Sorry, Ray
With
and
his blue
Graham.
steel
And you're so beautifully colorful with that jacket and your beautiful pink hair, and so that was just a fun one. When we had finished the shoot and we were wrapping, we shot that one. But what is really exciting, OJ, that I'm really thrilled to tell people about, is that we've decided to collaborate on a 4-week songwriting workshop. So there will be 4 weeks of 90-minute songwriting sessions, and we're going to do them every Tuesday night, every week for 4 weeks, and there'll be 90-minute sessions each. And you will be using your incredible gifts and skills to teach how to put a song together. And I'm really excited that this song we're going to create is going to go into the documentary. And then we're going to do another 4 weeks of recording the song and also creating a video for the New Golden Age documentary. So the topic of the song will be the New Golden Age. And everyone who comes on board will participate, and they will give their gifts and contribute to creating this song. And the great thing is, it's for people who are familiar with songwriting, but it's also for people who don't know about how to write a song. And you have a wonderful system that you've created to teach how to put a song together. So tell us about that, OJ.
Yes. So a few years ago, I put this system together because I was working with well, some professional musicians who were asking me, that sort of said, look, I've got writer's block, can you help me? I just don't know where to go from here. I was teaching students who were desperately wanting to become songwriters, and I had young people in my choir who were really wanting to be songwriters. And then when COVID hit, and we were all locked down, I thought, what an awesome opportunity to be able to teach someone how to write a song, and be able to express how they were feeling, which was really important at that time. And especially for my choir kids that were all locked down, we couldn't travel, we couldn't perform. And so I created the Write to Sing step-by-step songwriting system. And really just it is literally step by step. It's a paint by numbers for songwriters who are maybe, have that writer's block. It gives you a structure to be able to get back on track and get your creative juices flowing. For those who've never written a song, definitely will help you, even, come up. How do you come up with an idea for a song? How do you come up with the words, the expression, even the genre, the name, the structure? How do you structure a song? And of course, all of those things are intertwined, and the answer for one is determined by the other. We've had the cockies join us now
with the ducks.
With
It's
the
all
ducks.
about expression, isn't it? They're
It
all
is
coming to express. I can hear them squawking as
it's
you're
like the
talking.
foghorn of the ferry. Music follows me wherever I go, clearly. The birds have joined in the chorus this morning, which is just wonderful.
They're symbolically showing us the importance of
Yeah, and what's hilarious is one of the things that I do teach in the Write to Sing songwriting system is to really listen to your environmental sounds, because that can give you great ideas for songs. And so here we are. I'm like, oh look, the cockies have decided to come and say hi, and say, pick me. But look, it's a lot of fun. As you can see, songwriting can be very cathartic. It can be very empowering. It can be very inspirational,
Oh,
and it can also be
joyful.
a way of just letting out. Like sometimes, and we all resonate with different songs and different genres and different moods and energies in songs,
Yes.
depending on how we're feeling inside.
So
And
true, so true. It's amazing how you magnetize the exact song of what you're feeling right at that time.
you do. It's amazing how it just happens to come onto the radio, doesn't it?
I know. I remember I was breaking up with a partner years ago, and there was a song that came on. Every good thing comes to an end. I was listening to that. I'd just broken up with this partner. I thought, oh my God, that is so timely. And and what I really love too is that we're so on the same page, because I wrote my first song when I was about 14. I got a publishing deal with songwriting. We had some of our songs made into videos. I toured with original songs that I'd written, and around Victoria, country Victoria, quite a few years ago. And so to me, one of the most beautiful forms of expression is to write a song and to sing it, and the joy of creating a song, and then you've got that tangible thing in front of you once you've written it, and then being able to express it. It's a really, really high frequency, and it's a beautiful expression of your soul. And so this is just, to me, such a beautiful thing that we can do together, to collaborate with people, to be able to give them the gift, or to give them the opportunity to be able to do that for themselves, and to learn how to do it, and to also be able to see something that they've created being shown in a documentary as well, because
Right.
then you're sort of seeing that tangible thing coming to life in a
That's
form
right.
that you help create. So
Also credited for. So, not only do we have like the connection with each other in writing the song, we are finding both the synergy and the sameness, but also the variety of a group of people coming together. but then the sort of the significance of having your name to something, you know, being on the, you know, certainly, you know, I'm sure there are people out there that on their bucket list is being able to, you know, be on on the credits of a documentary or a
Yes,
movie. So this
yes,
is a great opportunity
yes,
to tick that off your bucket list
absolutely.
and, you know, become a songwriter.
Yeah.
Um, and you know, you never know, might launch some careers, Medyhne.
Oh, that would be
Wouldn't that
incredible.
be amazing?
You know,
And also, it's
supporting people on their
community.
supporting people on their soul mission. You know, their thing that they come here to do. You know, if you have any sort of resonance with what we're talking about, just give it a go. You never know where, like you say, you never know where this will lead.
Yeah, that's
Fantastic.
right. And it's community. I mean, that's what this documentary is about, and that's why I was so excited when you asked me to come and be part of it. And I feel very honoured to be amongst a wonderful group of people that are being interviewed for the documentary. And just because community is my passion, you know, because music is community.
Totally.
It just
Absolutely.
you yes, you can pick up a guitar or sit at the piano and play music and you know, sing a song in the shower, but as soon as you do that, as soon as sound goes out into the universe, you have not done it alone.
Mm,
You know,
that's true.
it
You know, metaphysically too, interestingly, every time you create something, it goes up into the Hall of Records. And there is upstairs, there's a record of it as well. And that goes for books and for songwriting
absolutely,
and
yep,
everything.
for
And
sure.
that's a beautiful thing to know. It's in the archives of humanity, you know.
That's right. And it is a legacy, you know.
Mm,
Um, I had a friend, one of my professional speaking mentors, asks the question, you know, if you died tomorrow, who would be at your funeral? And what would they be saying? You know, what sort of legacy am I leaving in the world? You know, what sort of
yeah.
legacy are you leaving in the world? So there's also, you know, the opportunity to create legacy and leave something that will last for generations, that can touch the next generation or generations to come. Um,
Funnily enough,
the
I wrote a
physical.
song about that. That very topic. I wrote a song about the footprint that you're leaving and the legacy. It's called No Last Goodbye. I'll leave the link below.
There you go. Do that. Absolutely.
That's funny.
Yeah.
And then if people want to continue and then record, we're going to offer another 4 weeks of recording the song and then creating a video. You created an incredible video actually that you showed me during the COVID lockdown in a similar way. Tell me about that, what you did there.
So I did a number of them. One of the ones, are you talking about the one that the children, the online choir
I
wrote?
think so. We thought with all the faces came up separately
Yes,
singing.
yes, yes.
And
So
how did you? That was really clever how you did that because you gave everyone a guide track to sing to or something, and
that's right.
then
That's
they
right. So
filmed themselves, and then you put it all
that's
together. It
it.
was great.
That's it. So you can actually go on the Aussie OZY youth choir um, YouTube channel and have a look for that. There's a number of mashups on there because obviously we were in lockdown for 2 years, on and off. So you can go and have a look at that. One of my favorites um, was Sing Till We're Free. And it was a collaboration, a songwriting collaboration that I did with the children online. So the young people wrote it themselves.
Oh wow!
They came up with the melody, you know, everything. I helped them learn how to arrange it. Um, and then we got them to sing to a guide track. So we're all in tune, all in, you know, tune and in time and everything else, and send their videos back in. And we gave them some ideas of other videos that they could put in, so we could sort of mash it up as a fun video together. And they did a fantastic job, and it's quite fun. They actually did two songs. There's two songs that they wrote on the YouTube channel there, and we sort of put all their faces up, and then we mashed up all the other videos that they put in of like getting dressed into their mother's old ballroom dresses, and going out onto their property and playing soccer in their ball, and jumping on the trampoline, and flying kites inside because they weren't allowed to go outside. And it's just that every time I'm feeling a little bit low, I just go and watch one of their 2 videos and just think, yeah, it just makes me feel so, I mean, it just lifts my spirit, inspires me to think that a group of young people wrote those songs and then performed them, and help produce the videos. So
that is brilliant. So important at that time too, to do things like that, when people are just sort of feeling, stuck at home and trapped and things like that. So that's phenomenal what you did there. The topic people might want to ask about the new golden age that we're going to focus the theme of the song on is all about creating a better world. So it's a very positive, meaningful, constructive, topic as well. So you might want to think about, if you want to join us in doing this, how is a better world looking to me? What do I think are components of living a better life, of humanity, loving one another, and being a world where everyone can be their best and be at their highest potential. What would that look like? And if we can put that into a song, imagine how positive and exuberant and constructive. I'm getting a lot of energy actually as I'm speaking. When you speak a universal truth and you get like goosebumps, I'm getting a lot of energy as I'm talking. So we want to have that energy in the song that is really going to be empowering and positive. And that's, I think, everything that you represent too, OJ, with your energy.
thank you.
So I think it's just going to be very, very, a very positive, really enlivening experience, rejuvenating, invigorating,
That's right.
creative.
Actually doing it, the creative, getting those creative juices flowing is, also very good for your health. And just to clarify, so there's 2 different 4-week sessions that
Yes,
they can be involved in, both or
yes,
only one. So
yes,
so there's a songwriting workshop for those who really want to be part of the songwriting.
yep,
But if you're not someone who is necessarily wanting to contribute to the song, but you want to be one of the singers,
yes,
we are then going to have some sessions to learn the song and be able to record it and be one of the singers. And you can be part of both if
yes,
you want.
yes. And then you will have a credit on the documentary as being part of this project, which is
That's
really
right.
exciting.
Yay!
So
Very
yay,
exciting.
super,
Thank you so
super
much for
thrilled.
letting me be part of it. It's so exciting, and I hope to see some of you in the trenches, songwriting and being creative and getting excited about what a golden age and a better world looks like. And I'm really excited to collaborate with vibrant, exciting, inspirational people, and hearing your stories, and what you have to offer, in both in community and in the world.
Beautiful. I couldn't say it better than that. So on that note, thank you so much, OJ, for your time. I know you'll be rushing off somewhere
I will. I've got another. I'm just looking at the time, going, oh, I've really got to go in a minute and go to my next thing. But
now.
it's been lovely to chat, and
Beautiful.
as I say, look forward to seeing some of you online, both songwriting and singing together.
Brilliant. So excited. Yay.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Thank you, OJ. Have a very beautiful day. And everyone out there listening, have a beautiful day and get excited about this and share it with your family and friends, because this is a wonderful opportunity, and hope we get lots and lots of people to collaborate with us. So thank
Yeah.
you.
See you later.
Bye.
Like an hour just goes like that when you're songwriting.
Sure, that's true.
You know what I mean? Like it
Yes.
by the
Yes.
time we're sort of collaborating and getting people's ideas and all of that sort of thing,
Yeah.
and getting people's creative juices flowing,
Yes. Yes.
like the best stuff happens in the last half hour. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I've always wanted to write a song, or I'd love to collaborate. And you might find that some of the older audience will.
Yes.
I just recently was invited to a songwriters workshop. They invited me just to come along to the workshop. And it was a very interesting mix of people. So there was, let me see, the youngest would have probably been in her mid 20s.
Right.
The oldest was in his 70s.
How old, sorry?
In his 70s.
Wow. That's
So
great.
it was quite, there was maybe 7 or 8 people in the room.
Yeah.
And there were sort of people my age, there were people younger, there were people older. And it sort of showed me that, I mean, songwriting is something you can do at any age. Yeah, and the older ones, like, sort of were retired and had loved music, gone to lots of music festivals and concerts during their life, and they're like, I think I got some songs in me, so that's why I'm here.
Oh, lovely.
So I'm going to actually use a program that I wrote quite a few years ago called Write to Sing. It's the step-by-step songwriting system.
Wow. We'll talk about that. Great.
Yeah. So it's really, it's a way of doing it if you've never done it before. And regardless, some people who come on may have well-written songs before, but it's very structured. It's very step-by-step. We'll do things like, how to put the words together, how to put the structure together, how to put the words together.
Yeah.
How to even come up with the idea, how to
Yes.
come up with the genre.
Yes.
Because all of those things are part of songwriting. Most people that just pick up a guitar or sit down at the piano and just write a song, if they're already a professional musician, they're going to probably write in the genre that they already perform in.
Yeah.
But if you're new to this, actually working out what that is, and of course we're doing it for a doco, so we need to talk about what sort of genre is going to work for this, what sort of what's the name of the song, what's the intent of the song, how are we going to structure it, and all of those things are intertwined.
Wow.
So that's why I put together the Write to Sing step-by-step songwriting system, so that it would be a really step-by-step, hold your hand. Doesn't matter if you've ever done it before, we're going to come out with a beautiful song at the end that we can use for the doco. Anyone can do it, anyone can be part of it. And when you're collaborating, that's a really huge fun thing to do, regardless of whether or not you're a musician. If you can put a sentence together, you can be a songwriter.